Hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We are very happy to introduce you to our show titled Speak of Africa. If this is the first time you're watching our show, we would like to say, welcome to Speak of Africa. My name is Prince Ojong. I'm your humble host. Speak of Africa is a show designed to discuss African problems. We have many problems in Africa. Most of the news media that you know glosses over these problems. People have unanswered questions. Our job is to present the answers, to tell you the news behind what is happening. Events are not happening in Africa haphazardly. People may make you think so, but the truth is there's a method in whatever is happening in Africa. Everything is preordained. Okay? You always have causes and effects. And that's what we're here to tell you. For those who started with us, who are subscribers, we say thank you very much for subscribing to this show. If this is the first time you're watching this show, there's a button. Press it and subscribe to the show. We welcome you to the Speak of Africa family. Tell your friends about this show. We love you. And please, if there's something you don't like about the show, tell us. We're going to improve. We are your servants, and we're here to do what you want. What is the news week in Africa like? Well, the major headlines we saw in Africa have to do with internet outage, major internet outage. A lot of countries in Africa, such as Cameroon, Liberia, Ivory Coast, lost access to the internet. It looks like some of those undersea cables were cut. These undersea fiber optic cables are fundamental to providing internet service to Africa. So most of the cables were cut. So this affected service delivery in much of West and Central Africa. So that's a major problem. We saw that. And people depend a lot on the internet these days. Without the internet, there's little that you can do. People depend on the internet. So even when politicians shut down the internet, it affects commerce. It affects the society. So when this happened this week, it was a major drag on the working of things in Africa. So that was like the major story. Behind this major story of internet outage is also the problem of migration. Our people are feeling the pinch of migration. Why? They are feeling the pinch of migration because they are not happy with their lot. They are looking for a form of escape, just like my Yoruba folks say, Japa. We see it happening now and every day. The phenomenon for this week has to really do with migration to Canada. A lot of you guys were asking us questions. Why is it that so many Africans are migrating to Canada? Well, now you have a lot of people like Shira Migrations. They are selling the dream to most Africans who are unhappy with their lot in Africa. They are telling even people who are middle class, who have established families, they are telling them that if they want to do better, they need to leave Africa and immigrate to Canada to achieve prosperity. Canada now has become the new paradise on earth. A lot of Africans are living and going to Canada. And we know so many Africans who have resettled in Canada because of this dream. You can see it. But what we are saying is, we are not discouraging people from immigrating to Canada. What we are saying is, it's better for our people to know what they are doing. Before you immigrate to Canada, don't just listen to the fantasy sold to you by social media influencers. Do your homework. Certainly, there are no roses without thorns. That's the realistic way of looking at Canada. Canada is beautiful. My father, for example, studied in Canada, Montreal, some of you call it Montreal, and Alberta. So I know Canada a whole lot because my father was a student there. Studied at McGill University, then University of Alberta. So I've always had a connection with Canada. I love Canada. But what I want my people to know is Canada is not a paradise. Before you immigrate to Canada, do your homework. Okay? Because there's racism too in Canada. Some people will tell you, oh, there's no racism in Canada like in the United States or in the United Kingdom. Oh, there's a lot of racism in France. Yes, there's a lot of racism in France. We know it. And we are taking France to task for being racist against our people. Like today, we have the lady called Aya Nakamura, who is from Mali. You see the way they treated this lady from Mali. France has chosen her to sing during their Olympics a song of Edith Piaf, who is a famous French singer. You will not believe that Aya Nakamura was born in France. She's a French citizen of Malian extraction. Yet, the French people, especially the far right in France, do not want to see her sing on that day because she's black. Come on, France. France can steal all our resources, but they don't want us. So this is a shame. And we have a lot of pictures of Aya. This is a black lady. She really represents blackness. I don't know, when you talk about blackness, Aya Nakamura is perfect. She's a model black person. You look at her. France is against her. When France is against her, it means France is against all black people. And we're here to tell you that. So this is really what we do. We present the story and for you to see. Next, we take you to Angola. What is really happening now? We're telling you the United States is losing the hearts and minds in Africa. People are leaving the United States and going to Russia and China. So it's sad because people are doing this. America is asking, why? It's the purpose of the show of today for you to educate you to know why people love American values. Most Africans don't want to go to China and live. Most Africans don't want to go to Russia and live. They prefer America with its values. But because America is supporting colonial powers such as France, most Africans do not like America anymore. They are tired of America because America is supporting colonial forces. And they feel like America is being hypocritical. The Belt and Road Initiative, that's what is taking place in Africa. When you look at Angola, João Lourenço, the president of Angola, was feted in China this week by President Xi Jinping of China. He was treated like a king. The reception was sumptuous. You can see the pictures, very beautiful. China lays out the red carpet. When have you ever seen America lay out the red carpet for any African leader in Washington? Look at the pictures of João Lourenço in China. Have you ever seen anything like this in America? So America needs to learn to start treating Africans better. Forget France, forget the United Kingdom, forget Germany, all those former colonial powers. Begin a new friendship with Africans. Make a new start. Otherwise, America will be losing more and more of the minds in Africa. America will be chasing Africans into the bosom of Russia and China. That's what we can tell you. Then what about Egypt? Well, Egypt is a northern African country. Some of you sometimes don't even remember Egypt as an African country. It's an Arab country. But Egypt is also falling prey. Egypt is depending so much on colonial powers. This week, we saw that Egypt is begging for $8 million from the European Union. Egypt cannot pay its bills. Egypt is cash strapped. Egypt depends on the United States for money. You look at the big economy, Sisi saying it's a strong man. It's a strong man for what? It's a strong man who just goes around begging from the colonial masters. Then how can he have the power to decide things on his own when he is the boy, the beggar, who begs from the Western powers? Why do you think the Western powers now, under the EU, they want to give money to Sisi? It's because they want to fight against migrations, Africans leaving and coming to Europe. That's why they're giving this money to Egypt. They want Egypt to hold Africans at bay so that they should not cross into the Mediterranean and come to Europe. So they are bribing him to keep his brothers. Remember, a similar deal was struck in Tunisia recently. So what they are doing, the European Union is buying off these leaders, giving them money, then telling them, no, we don't want those Africans. Keep them in Africa. We don't want them to come to Europe. So Sisi is just receiving bribe money. And what about Gabon? Gabon is also a place where you can see a new guy who has come to power, a strong man, Brice Oligui Nguema. But we look at him like the continuation of the Bongo dynasty. The colonial strings are still there, even though he speaks a new language, but we don't really trust him. But today, 3 of you sent us a video. This video is showing the excesses of the Ali Bongo regime, the kleptocratic family of Ali Bongo. They stole so much money from Gabon, then they use this money to buy a posh hotel, and this posh hotel belongs to the Bongo family. This week, the people are seizing this property. They want to sell it off so that the Gabonese people can get their money back. Take a minute and watch the video of this nice hotel that Ali Bongo stole money and bought in Paris. Take a look.
Cet hôtel particulier parisien, acheté pendant la présidence d'Ali Bongo, va être mis en vente par l'État gabonais. On t'explique pourquoi. Situé dans le très chic 7e arrondissement de la capitale française, voici l'hôtel particulier Pozzo di Borgo. Avec ses 2700 m² de jardin et ses 4500 m² de surface habitable, c'est l'une des résidences les plus chères de Paris. Le couturier Karl Lagerfeld y a résidé pendant 30 ans. En 2010, l'État gabonais, alors dirigé par Ali Bongo Ondimba, achète le bien près de 100 millions d'euros, soit 65 milliards de francs CFA, selon le quotidien Africa Intelligence. À l'époque, les autorités gabonaises avaient expliqué que l'acquisition de cet immeuble permettra en outre de réduire les frais d'hébergement des officiers gabonais en mission en France. 14 ans après, les militaires au pouvoir veulent vendre le bâtiment. Le général Brice Clotaire Oligui Nguema, président de la transition, s'étant engagé à mettre fin aux dépenses fastueuses de ses prédécesseurs. Une opération qui pourrait s'avérer rentable pour le pays. Selon le quotidien Africa Intelligence, l'État gabonais espère vendre le bâtiment 2 fois plus cher que le coût d'achat, soit près de 200 millions d'euros ou 130 milliards de francs CFA. Un prix justifié par les travaux de rénovation effectués par l'ancien gouvernement. Toujours selon Africa Intelligence, plusieurs acheteurs seraient déjà intéressés par cet hôtel de luxe. Parmi eux, le milliardaire Bernard Arnault ou l'ex-premier ministre du Qatar, Ahmed Ben Jassim Jabir Al Thani.
In Libya, we also have a sad story of 50 people drowning at sea. The people get into some of these funny makeshift boats, inflated, somebody call it dingy. How safe are these boats? Very, very unsafe. We keep saying the boats are unsafe, yet our people keep getting on these boats to travel to Europe. A lot of them don't make it. 50 plus people were suffocated and died. Few were able to get even to the shore of Libya. Isn't this sad? It's very, very sad. The same story continues in La République du Cameroon. All the people in La République du Cameroon are looking at 2025. 2025 is just like a magic date. But we don't think much is going to happen. The expectation is that, okay, Paul Biya is going to die by 2025. If he doesn't die, then he has to run for president again, even though he's vegetable today. His people are holding him just like in this movie, The Wizard of Oz. You have a puppeteer. So this guy is just held so that people can see him. So long as they can see him, they can keep him in power. Okay? But they know that if he covers his eyes, the people know that he's dead. Everybody will be fighting for power. And that's what is happening now in La République du Cameroon. You can see Maurice Kamto is already positioning himself to be a successor. Last time, he won the election, but Paul Biya did not want him to be president. So what will happen after Biya is gone? That's the question on a lot of minds in Cameroon. People are jockeying for power as we speak. Okay? People will be asking, oh, where's Nyad Jefenji? Where is he? Is he going to be the next president? Okay, that's a joke. He will not be. So, but you see the way this country is really misusing resources. Victoria, which they now call Limbe, has a natural deep seaport. Yet, the improvident government of Paul Biya is wasting resources to build a new seaport in Kribi because it doesn't want the seaport to be built in the Anglophone area. People don't want to say it, This is what is on the minds of a lot of Cameroonians, but I'm saying it for them so that the news can spread. Okay? Look at pictures of the seaport in Kribi. You have a better seaport in Limbe, Victoria. Why are they not using it? Because it's an Anglophone region. They don't want the Anglophone region to develop. They feel like maybe tomorrow, if you separate from these people, they will take this seaport and will not have it. So they better do the best things in their area. Isn't that a shame? And you say you are not marginalizing Anglophones? Come on, think about it again. Next, we take you to Niger. There's a major story in Niger. We told you before, after Mohamed Bazoum was overthrown, the junta kicked out the French. The Americans stayed, and the Americans were able to negotiate sweet deals with the junta. Okay? Now, those arrangements were broken this weekend. Top American diplomats were in Niger to try to see how they can bolster American presence. But it looks like the junta felt like the Americans were condescending and overbearing. So the negotiations fell apart, and the junta asked the Americans to leave. So now finally, even America is leaving. So what is happening is that Niger now is falling full into the arms of Russia and China. America is out. Isn't this a mistake? America needs to start thinking American interests. When America starts meddling with its friends like France, America is losing focus. America is hurting Americans by focusing on trying to help France. America should focus on American interests. Okay? The junta wants sovereignty. They don't want Americans to dictate the terms of engagement in that part of the world. But of course, Niger is a rich country. They have uranium and a lot of products that they use in nuclear plants in Europe. So America wants to come, get the stuff, then turn around and give to France. That will not work. The people know that game and they're not happy. Finally, America has been kicked out of Niger. And this is the big story. The diplomats from America tried to play down their expulsion. Okay? But people know about it. They know what happened. They were sent back packing because the military junta felt they were insulting. This is their country. You cannot go to their country and be dictating terms to them. Because that's what the colonial master has always done in Africa. They always dictate terms to Africans. It's like Africa is a farm, Europe is a factory. They just come to Africa and collect the things for free. So long as they have a puppet president in an African country, the multinational corporations can do whatever they want. Nobody can ask them anything. And that's the sad part we're seeing in Africa today. They don't want you to talk. You talk, they kill you. So that's very, very sad. From Niger now, we'll go to Nigeria.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Real treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
In Nigeria, we have another major story. Killing, kidnapping, that has become ordinary business in Nigeria today. As we're taping the show, you sent us news saying that a community in Delta State, faced a lot of deaths. Over 16 soldiers were killed when they went to mediate between two communities that were fighting. And all these communities are fighting over resources. That's what most of these fights are about. The people are fighting over resources. They can be land, but they're just fighting over limited resources. In economics, we're taught that resources are limited. The resources were scarce. So human beings try to do the best with the scarce resources that exist. So you're always having conflict, sometimes in nature. Sometimes you have this conflict between farmers and cattle rearers. So the two have different interests. The cattle rearers want to mess up the area. The people say, stay in one place and graze in a particular place. But no, they want to carry their cattle and graze everywhere. But now the Delta is right in the south. When you look at where it is in Nigeria, around the south, they talk about the Niger Delta. This is an area that is plush with a lot of oil deposits, and that's where a lot of the money is coming from. But there's always conflict here because the people feel they are not benefiting from the oil wealth. For a very long time, they have been publicizing their complaints, but who is listening? Sarawiwa, who comes from this region, was killed. And you guys remember that? That's what really brought a lot of attention to this region. So when we look at this, we say to you, what are we going to do next? We have to be careful. How can communities coexist? We have to learn to let these people live side by side. What is Bola Tinubu doing about this? For a long time, since he became president, he's been focusing on rejuvenating the economy of Nigeria. The Naira has been plummeting, falling. People even feel that this currency is useless. Last week, I saw a young couple from Nigeria. They decided to take $1 million to Nigeria because they wanted to buy a mansion. But they're saying that, the Naira is so cheap. Now we can buy a mansion for almost nothing. That's what they decided to do. So it's really sad, but we have to accept this for Nigeria. Next, we take you to Senegal. Senegal is having elections on the 24th. It's not really been easy. It's been a very hard, rough walk to democracy. For a long time, people have looked upon Senegal as the most democratic country in Africa. The machinations of Macky Sall, the current president, have tarnished this image of the country. Macky Sall wanted to bring Amadou Ba, his prime minister, to replace him as president. But where must you handpick your successor? That's not nonsense most of these guys in Africa do. Amadou Ba is a slight, unmeritable guy, the way Shakespeare puts it. He doesn't have charisma. So how is he going to deal with a very charismatic guy like Ousmane Sonko? That's the problem. Because Macky Sall knew that Ousmane Sonko is very popular among the people, among the disaffected youth, they decided to trump up charges against Ousmane Sonko. And we told you on this show, so long as Ousmane Sonko remains in jail, there will be problems in Senegal. If they don't release him, there will be chaos. And whatever we predicted has come to pass. Macky Sall has gone through so many tribulations because he canceled the election date in February, and the people put pressure. Finally, this week, Ousmane Sonko has been released. Even though he's not running for president, his handpicked deputy, Bassirou Faye, is the guy who is running for president, and it looks like he might win. Because all the young people are throwing their support behind Ousmane Sonko's candidate, Bassirou Faye. Okay? So you can see the guys, March 24th, that's the new date for the elections in Senegal. The people now are busy campaigning. Since Ousmane Sonko came out of prison, he has been campaigning with his candidate, even though his Pastef party is not there anymore, but the new coalition that he created is live, and we want them to win. This would usher in a new era in Senegalese politics. So finally, we take you to South Africa. In South Africa, the major issue has to do with the presence of 70,000 Jewish people in the country. These people are not sitting silently. Now they are very vocal. Since the genocide in Gaza, the people from Israel who settled in South Africa have been going to Gaza to fight. The South African government feels like because of dual citizenship, these guys should not exploit it and fight to support Israel. But most of these Jews want to support Israel. So South Africa doesn't like it. The foreign minister of South Africa does not like it. She's been talking about it, she's been complaining, and they have been saying that they may jail any South Africans who go to Gaza to fight for Israel. But remember, we had told you before that the South African government had taken Israel to the ICC with charges of genocide. South Africa is comparing their own history with what is happening to the Palestinian people. Apartheid and genocide, they are synonymous in the eyes of South Africans, because they feel like what Palestinians are going through is even worse than what they went through in the hands of white people. So how is this going to be resolved? Well, the ANC is in tatters. They stand to lose the next election. This may bring an end to their rule, and it looks like a lot of disaffected South Africans want this rule to end. So as you can see, America needs to make changes in Africa. America is losing ground. They keep losing ground in Africa because they are making friends with the former colonial powers like France, Britain, Germany. They are America's partners. But America needs to create some space between them. Otherwise, America will lose Africa entirely. And that's the message we have for this show. Now you know why America is losing ground in Africa to Russia and China. You may not like it, but America is making a mistake. The Road and Belt Initiative from China is everywhere. They are wrapping Africa like an octopus. America is standing and watching, peeping. Peeping, like a peeping Tom. That's what America is doing. Okay? So thanks for watching our show of today. And we'll say, may God bless you. Watch and subscribe to this show. Share the show. Thank you very much.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.